Greetings, fellow mortals. The Miles Morales Spider-Man has recently come up often in conversations. That makes sense considering that the hype for the Spider-Man 2 video game and the Across the Spiderverse movie has grown. I have high expectations for both of these pieces of entertainment. The original Spider-Man game and the Spider-Man Miles Morales game were super fun, and I love everything about Into the Spider-Verse. It's one of the best, and I will die on that hill. With my expectations so high, everything better live up to the hype, or I will be extremely disappointed.
Disappointed!
That being said, I find myself being intrigued by the discourse around Miles Morales. I started seeing people online argue if Miles Morales is actually Spider-Man, and it was just as messy as I predicted, because this is the internet we're talking about, and people can't have civil discourse. Despite what people say, there are a wide range of sides, and they're all screaming so loudly I can barely hear myself think.
Shut up! No, you shut up!
Ugh, here we go. Now, this involves a black character, so you know the two loudest sides. One group is filled with trolls and idiots that actually hate people of color. The other side thinks that everyone who had a different opinion than them is a terrible person. These are what the 20% of people that actually exist look like. Unfortunately, they're the geniuses that we have to hear the most. They're loud and never listen to reason. Just fun people to be around.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Others are far more reasonable. There are people who really just want Miles Morales to be the Spider-Man. They genuinely want characters of color to have leading roles. There are people that think that giving Miles the same title as Peter is demeaning and doesn't let Miles become his own person. There are some people that want to keep the two versions in separate universes. There are some that want Peter and Miles to be in the same universe as equals. There are even some morons, just like me, that just want Marvel to change Peter's version to a different name so that we can make everyone mad at our opinion.
Well, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Now, I don't particularly care that much. Comics are known for having different versions of the same character. Robin and the Flash come to mind, but usually the previous character retires and gets a new name before the replacement shows up. Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, or the old ones can just go away or die, just like in the Flash. Now, in a universe where Miles Morales watched Peter die, like in the Spider-Verse, it makes sense for him to take up the mantle of Spider-Man.
That makes sense to me.
But there is the problem in something like the Spider-Man video games, where both Peter and Miles are alive and from the same universe. I don't particularly get why Miles would want to be called the exact same name as Peter. It does seem weird, like if they're right next to each other and someone calls out to them, how do they know who should respond? I don't know about you, but that would get really confusing, especially if I was new to a job. It reminds me of when I was in high school. I knew multiple Calebs, so I ended up referring to most of them by their last names. So I figured that Miles would eventually get some way to be differentiated from the OG Spider-Man.
You did? You know the guy's name on first base? Sure. Tell me the guy's name on first base.
Who?
Not to mention that this is a world with J. Jonah Jameson. He's the king of naming the superpowered people. You know that he would give Miles a unique name that would catch on. I can't picture him going on rants about Red Spider-Man and not Red Spider-Man. You know, they're not making this easy. It's like this is a giant trap to make people seem like they're jerks. The creators could make this a bit easier, you know.
It's a trap!
So I guess that's where I get my controversial and confrontational opinion from. I tend to try to morph my beliefs so that I can change the most people possible. Changing Peter's Spider-Man name would make the most people mad. Old school fans would hate the change. Miles fans would feel like it's condescending to their favorite character. The discriminatory people and trolls would be screaming, and the super high intelligent geniuses would find something to be mad about, even though they get exactly what they want. After all they care about is staying mad and having the moral high ground.
I'm always angry.
But if Sony and Marvel actually want to do this the right way, I think that they should have followed the Into the Spider-Verse formula. Just have Miles be in a separate universe. Yes, people will still get mad, but people will always get mad. It makes sense to have Miles take up the mantle after his reality's Peter Parker died. Then he could interact with all the other versions of Spider-Man without anyone bringing up the weirdness of their names. Of course, this is based off complete bias because I love Into the Spider-Verse so much. Sue me.
Yeah, a lawsuit sounds good, Saul, but who can I sue?
I do think that making one version of Miles canon for a while would help a lot with the problems. There's a lot of confusion because there are several different versions of Miles with different personalities, backgrounds, friends, lifestyles, and goals. Now, comics are known for their constant changes. You can't go that long without things getting thrown out the window, but that was long after these characters were already established as something that people cared about. Fans don't really like change.
I don't like change!
Unfortunately, there isn't going to be a consistent version of Miles for a while. He won't have the anchor that Peter has with Uncle Ben, and I think that's unfortunate for him. He deserves to have something that grounds him. With how everything is going, there will eventually be a live-action version of Miles as well, meaning that there will be a different version of him in the comics, and the live-action movies, in the animated movies, and in the video games, without anything really being consistent between the alternate realities. Can we at least have one thing that is consistent with him in all of his versions?
That does not make sense.
The fact is that I don't even believe that Sony or Marvel care about consistency or logic at this point. Controversy is a big part of marketing now. It started with the 2016 Ghostbusters film and grew from there. Sony and Marvel just want people to argue and get mad at each other. It draws attention and headlines, but all this outrage has done is make me sick of people being angry. You know it's bad when I'm numb to new announcements because I don't want to deal with other people airing their dirty laundry and worldviews in public. At best, it's hilarious. At worst, it's really, really sad. Either way, nobody really cares.
Nobody cares. Nice hat.
It's all a tiring experience with easy fixes. Unfortunately, no one actually wants to fix things or make the art better, at least people at these production companies. There's little money to be made in actual perfection. I just kind of wish that they could start making some common sense choices and internal consistency. It would make being a fan a lot easier. In fact, it would just make functioning on the internet a lot easier. But here we are, listening to people scream at each other about things that should have been fixed a long time ago.
I'm going to make this way harder than it needs to be.
That's why I think that they should go ahead and change Peter Parker's name. At least it would be a new reason for people to get mad. It would be a change of pace at the very least. I would kill for people to move on from the same dead horse that they've been beating for, I don't know. I think that 2015 was the original current year. So let's go with 7 going on 8 years. So 8 years of the exact same garbage. Wow, that kind of makes me feel old.
I ain't old! I ain't old!
So the solutions are to ignore the stupid people, change Miles' hero name, or change Peter's hero name. Here's some terrible examples of what you could change Peter's name to, because I don't want to put too much thought into this when Sony should be the one doing it. Classic Spider, Old Spider, Papa Spider, Trap Spider, OG Spider, Huntsman. Wait, that last one is a type of spider and actually sounds kind of cool. Throw that one out. They wouldn't actually use that anyway. Creativity has been dead for comics and comic movies for a while now. We're all just pretending.
This isn't real enough for you, Billy?
But personally, I do think that Miles deserves more than what he's actually getting. At least Across the Spiderverse will be good, maybe not as good as the first film based on the new trailer, but alright. And the Spider-Man 2 game will be better than the first one because no forced Mary Jane stealth missions. If we can't agree that those are the worst things to ever happen in Spider-Man, then I don't know what to say. Except, of course, the time that Peter gave MJ cancer because of his radioactive sperm. Yeah, that was a real storyline. Maybe I'm just taking this all too seriously.
Why so serious?
Anyway, what do you think? Am I completely off base here? Should Miles or Peter actually change their names? Are you looking forward to the new Spider-Man content? Please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your perspectives. And thank you so much for watching. If you like my takes on storytelling, please consider subscribing and liking the video. It would really help me out. Also, please remember that I'll be self-publishing my novel, Dance of Frozen Death, at the start of 2023. I hope that you will check it out. I appreciate you. Do not despair.